Well, probably one of the scariest things about becoming a missionary for me, number one, was raising support. Um, I wanted to go with some organization that would pay my way fully, that I would just apply to them, they would accept me, but I didn't know of one that I felt like I could work with at that time, in that position in my life and where I lived at that time. And so that wasn't an option for me. So then I researched every mission board I could. I tried to find the one that might help me where I wouldn't be. I was scared. I was terrified of calling pastors, of talking to friends, of going to churches and raising my support. But that was such a foolish fear. You see, what we do is we let fear hinder us from doing what we can do and want to do and should do simply because we listen to our fears. We had to break out of our comfort zone. Actually, I found calling pastors was pretty easy. I know people, you're going to talk about, well, I spend all day long calling and no one answers and I don't get any meetings, but I've never known a missionary who was trying to raise support through local churches that wasn't able to book his meetings if he'd just make the phone calls. If he would just make the phone calls, he'd just get in touch with people and spend time. And it was exciting because guess what? I preached in the littlest churches you've ever seen and some of the largest churches you've ever seen, and everybody was kind to me. I mean, there were very few times that anybody was in any way rude on the phone or in any way. Everybody was very good. Because you know what? If you treat them like you want to be treated, they kind of tend to treat you that way. So I tried to honor them. And I'll be honest with you, I found them to be some of the finest, sweetest people in the world. Now, I want you to know that being a missionary, you may have several things that you're putting in front of you and you're saying, I don't know if I can do that because I don't want to call pastors and I don't want to speak in front of churches and I don't want to travel all over the country and I don't want to beat my family to death and I don't want to wear them out. I've heard it all, but the truth is it's not like that at all. You get to see parts of the country you've never seen before. You get to meet some of the finest people in the world. You get to see God use you. You get to see people get saved and God call people, and you get to raise up support. And I just want you to know that it is way above and beyond anything you can ever imagine. So don't be afraid. Jump out and do that. Now, there are lots of ways to go about this. You can do deputation the typical way a lot of churches do. And you can find churches that will agree with you and believe in you and help you. You can raise money through friendships, people that love you and believe in you that might support you financially. I was with a missionary not long ago, and we were at a writers' conference. And what was really funny is he had raised support, and the people that started supporting him were now grandparents, and the older people supported him, and then their children were now supporting him, and then the grandchildren were now adults and they were supporting him. And he just told me how great God had been. So I really think you're backing yourself into a corner. I backed myself into a corner. I was terrified of the idea of raising support. I was terrified of the idea of calling pastors, and I shouldn't have been. I was totally dead wrong. And I just want to challenge you to realize that you're wrong to think like that. You're wrong to think like that. I didn't find it hard to write letters to people and tell them thank you because they were kind to me. They took care of me. I'll just save this other story for the next time or another time. But I just want you to know God is so good. And you make a massive mistake when you begin to think it's not worth it. I shouldn't do it. I can't do it. You're just making excuses, and God wants to use you, and I'd go ahead and let him if I was you.